So today we're going to talk about the Libernovo Omni. I bought this chair myself about a month ago. No sponsorship, nobody sent this to me. I paid full price. Now here's a part that still gets me. On May 11th at 4:33 p.m. I hit the checkout button. In less than 24 hours later, Libernovo announces 3 brand new versions of this exact chair. I have a gift. I buy literally anything and watch a company immediately release a newer version. Thank you, Libernovo. So today I'm going to tell you what I actually think about the one that I have and whether you should buy mine or get one of the newer versions. This is Nick's No Nonsense Tech. I'm Nick. Let's get into this. Libernovo calls this a dynamic ergonomic chair. And here's what that actually means. Instead of locking you into one correct sitting position like a normal office chair, this thing moves with you. The core feature is something called the Bionic FlexFit backrest. It's 16 pivot points with panels that flex independently as you shift, lean, or recline. So it's not one solid piece of plastic behind your back, it's actually reacting to what you're doing in real time. Another unique feature on this chair is an electric motor called the Ergo Pulse motor. It powers an electric piston that adjusts the lumbar support. It also powers the Omni stretch mode, but more on that in a little bit. Now working alongside that motor is a SynchroLink mechanism. This is the part that actually makes this chair special. It's what allows the backrest to move as one fluid piece instead of separate panels doing their own thing, keeping your back in that proper S-curve position no matter how you shift, lean, or recline. Let's get the price out of the way right now because I don't want anyone feeling misled later. This is an $900+ chair. It's not a $200 chair. So just remember that number in the back of your head for the rest of this video. Real quick, here's why I personally care about this so much. I spent close to 2,000 hours standing in the back of a combat helicopter in the Marine Corps, and that's left me with some real back issues that I have to deal with today. I went through a few cheap knockoff chairs over the years trying to save some money, and every single one of them ended up costing more in the long run. Either they broke down or my back just couldn't take them anymore. So for me, spending that much money on a chair that actually supports my back isn't just a luxury. It's something that I've learned the hard way is worth it. Now, if you're a casual or occasional desk user, it's probably not worth it. I'll just say that straight out. And a quick heads up, Libernovo just launched a cheaper version of the Omni SE, specifically for people who want that ergonomic without the full price. I'll get into that more in a minute. Alright, so I've been using this chair for a month now, so here's what I think about it. It's noticeably better by the end of the full day. I've got a lot less stiffness, a lot less pain than I would in a normal chair. That's the real difference. It's not something you feel the first 10 minutes. It's something that you notice hours, when a normal chair would have already started to get to you. Now let's talk about the weight limit, because I think most reviewers skip this and it matters. The chair is rated for 300 pounds, and I'm 280 pounds. So I'm getting close to that number. And honestly, the seat padding feels a little thin under my weight. I notice it after a few hours, enough that I'll stand up for a minute or two. But here's the thing, you're supposed to stand up, move around periodically anyway. So it's not really a knock against the chair in that sense. And when I sit back down, it's like the cushion just kind of resets itself. I'm back to that comfortable position again. The motor does make a little bit of noise, especially during the Omni stretch mode. Honestly, the only reason that I'd buy mine or the Pro for the motor specifically is for the Omni stretch feature. But I want to be clear that it's a plus, not a necessity. It's not what makes this purchase worth it on its own. One thing I want to set straight, because there seems to be real confusion floated around on this. There's a feature called the Omni stretch, and a lot of reviewers out there are calling it a back massage. Here's the thing, even Libernovo isn't consistent on this. Some of their own marketing actually calls it a massage feature too. But based on a month of actually using it, I'm telling you straight out, it's a stretch. It's not a massage. If you go on expecting a massage, you're going to be disappointed. Now with that said, it does feel really nice. After I've been in the chair for a few hours, I'll run the 5-minute stretch, and it's generally a really good reset on how I feel. Now with that said, it does feel really nice. After I've been in the chair for a few hours, I like to run it through the Omni stretch mode. And it's a really good reset on my back. Would I buy this chair because of that feature alone? No, but it's a nice little perk. And I wanted to actually call it what it is instead of letting the hype around it set the wrong expectation. Now here's a moment worth actually showing you instead of just telling you about it. One thing I love is that when I recline, the armrests actually move with me. They're fully adjustable and they stay where they need to be instead of just sitting there static. I know a lot of other reviewers have pointed out that the armrest moves side to side a little too easily, and I do notice what they're talking about. And honestly, it doesn't bother me nearly as much as you think from reading those reviews. So I actually tested. I put my full body weight on the armrest. I leaned my entire weight into them. I shifted my position in the chair. No question, they held. No cracks, no creaks, no nothing. Even with my weight on them, I had zero issues with the armrests the entire month. Now let's talk about the headrest, because this is one of the most comfortable headrests I've used. It's not stiff. It actually moves with your head. I've seen other reviews mention it feels loose, and they're not wrong. But they also point out that they think it's part of the design, and I kind of agree with that. It's not supposed to be locked in one place. It's supposed to move with you. It's almost like a pillow cradling your head. That's what makes it feel restful instead of rigid. One thing I want to be straight with you about is the recline. What I found works for me is cranking that tension all the way up. When I do that, leaning back happens slow and I feel completely in control the whole way through. Even reclined out to the 160-degree position. I've sat in a lot of chairs where going back that far makes you feel like that you're about to fall right out of the chair. This one doesn't feel that way. It feels stable the entire way down. To be honest, I kind of love that feeling. It's nice to be able to lean back without feeling like you're going to tip over. Let's talk about fit, because your height plays a much bigger role in this chair than people expect. Libernovo gives you a seat depth option on the original Omni, but here's the thing, the actual seat pan underneath it is basically the same length either way, and you're really choosing extra padding to make it feel a little bit longer, not actually a longer seat. So if you're on the taller end, you can end up with what I'd call false support. The good news is they've actually fixed that with the Pro and the SE models. The larger seat option on those isn't just padding anymore. It's genuinely built to support a longer seated position. So if the seat depth and the fit matter to you and you're taller, that's a real reason I would look to the newer models instead of the one that I've got, the original Omni. Setup actually was pretty easy. The instructions came on this big piece of cardboard that sits right on top of the box. They were easy to follow. I didn't run into any real issues. The one moment I had to stop and double check was how the bottom clip on the backrest fit on. I actually had to pause filming for a second on that one, but once I looked at it again, it was crystal clear and I finished the build without any more trouble. As far as overall build quality, from what I can see so far, it's great. Yeah, there's some plastic components in there, but it doesn't feel cheap. It feels actually high grade. Honestly, a month in, I don't have much to complain about. Whatever's bugged me has been more about my own quirks or preferences than anything actually wrong with the chair. I'm very, very picky on the chairs that I use. So Libernovo just announced 3 new chairs on May 12th, the day after I bought mine. The Omni SE, the Omni Pro, and the Maxis. The Omni SE is a budget play. It's manual lumbars instead of the motorized one, but it keeps the 5 positions, reclined, and the core dynamic support system. If you want the ergonomics without paying the full price tag, this is the one to look at. The Omni Pro is the upgrade. Active seat ventilation, premium fabric, an aluminum base. If you don't want the original Omni and you want the upgraded version, this is the one to buy. And the Maxis is built for bigger and taller folks. 5'10 to 6'6", it's rated up to 399 pounds. If you don't fit in the standard frame, then the Maxis is the one to look at instead. One real buyer beware before you pull the trigger though. Libernovo is a fairly new company. We don't know how these chairs are going to hold up 10 years down the road, the way we do with some other companies like Herman Miller. As far as the warranty goes, you get 5 years on the frame, but only 2 years on the electronics. So the motor, the battery. Compare that to Herman Miller and Steelcase, who back up their chairs with 12-year warranties. So you're getting a lot of tech for the price, but you're also taking more of a risk than you would with an established brand. And the parts that most likely need that extra protection, the electronics, has the shortest coverage of all. So, straight answer, knowing what I know now, would I buy the one I have, or would I point you towards the SE or the Pro instead? Here's how I'd break it down. If you don't need the Omni stretch, and honestly, let's be real, nobody actually needs it. It's nice, it's just not necessary. And you don't have that extra money to spend, I'd point you towards the SE. You still get the core dynamic ergonomics, just without paying for the motorized feature. That's a perk, not a requirement. For me personally, if I'd waited just one more day, I probably would have gone with the Maxis instead. I wouldn't mind a little bit more room in the seat and on the back. And hey, Libernovo, if you're listening, I wouldn't object to you sending me a Maxis to review, wink wink. But the original Omni still gives me great support, and even with the new lineup just out, I don't regret buying mine at all. I love this chair, and I'd probably buy it again. At the end of the day, I like this chair a lot, and I'd recommend it, especially if you're someone who deals with back issues and you've learned the hard way like I have. The cheap option ends up costing you more in the long run. Just go in knowing it's a newer company with a shorter warranty than the big established names, so there's some real risk on the table along with the comfort. I'm going to keep using this chair, and I'll come back and give you a real update in 6 months and at the 1 year mark, so you know how it's actually holding up, not just how it feels brand new. So if this helped, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. I've got a full written breakdown with the specs over on the blog. The link's going to be in the description. And if you got a chair or desk setup question, drop it in the comments. I read all of them.